Alright, we are on the play with Rug Delver. There it is. Looks a little rug, not too Delver. I'd say this is a keep. We have the turn 1 Serum Visions. The rest of the hand is quite functional. If we were really greedy, we could go for turn 1 Thought Scour, but we're not going to do that. Island is not the land drop I wanted to make. But it's also not the worst land to find, so... Ooh, it looks like we're going up against... Oh, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Misty's what we wanted. I do think we're going to play the island anyways, because this Misty Rainforest is probably not going to get us a third blue source. We really don't need that. So we're going to leave some instants up. Send it over to them. Maybe some bolts. Almost certainly some scours. We might see a spell snare being cast. Depends what's in their deck. Cracking the Tarn means that they're probably playing a spell. Ooh, Storm. So they have an Electromancer. Bolt is probably what we're going to use to interact with it. Spell Snare hits more things in their deck, and Spell Snare also hits other creatures. So we can basically do that, we do this. Hopefully, well, we can't mill all 3 green sources, so we can't get locked out of green entirely. And we didn't get locked out at all, which is nice. We're probably going to want a basic forest. Maybe a red source, but we don't have any other red spells in our hand. We're going to fetch... Let's just get a... Storm's not going to pressure our life total. I might actually just get the third blue source. We have plenty of blue cards. We may as well just cast them at our leisure. Storm does sometimes play Blood Moon. Do they ever play it in the main board? Maybe. Perhaps that's something I should consider. That also requires us to need green after this turn, though. So I think we're pretty fine just playing this guy. What do we want to delve away? 5 cards. I think we just leave the Visions. It's not bad with Snapcaster. Makes Traverse pretty good, although I kind of like leaving the Lightning Bolt instead. So let's do that. Makes Traverse significantly worse. We're not going to play Delver. Or we definitely play Delver. We're just going to put the pressure on. Spell Snare's good enough for now, as far as interacting goes. I would like a very quick clock against Storm. We're probably going to Spell Snare the first 2 mana card we see, Mana Leak, whatever they play next, and that's probably close to good enough. Not playing a land here is kind of suspect. We're just going to snap that off right now. That may actually end up being a 1 mana target opponent discards Desperate Ritual and Time Walk, which it was. So that's pretty nice. Not the reveal we wanted. We're probably going to play it anyways. Our opponent says sweet 4/4 in a Death Shadow world. LOL. That's funny. No need to play anything else. We're just going to hold everything up. Tarn might actually just be used for the Delver Scry. Do we counter the Manamorphose? Stops them from drawing a card. This is difficult because if we let this resolve and we counter something else, it's probably slightly more profitable. But if we counter this, they probably just don't do anything for the rest of the turn. Yep, they scoop. Nice. So 4/4s in a Death Shadow world plus counter spells are quite good against Storm, which is nice. So let's see, against Storm, Tarfire loses some amount of stock over Lightning Bolt, because Tarfire can't kill Baral. But I think it's good enough that I just want all 6. Mana Leak's good, Thought Scour's good, Dismember can go. Pyroclasm's going to come in because of Empty the Warrens. I believe they main deck Empty the Warrens these days, so that becomes almost... I wouldn't main deck Pyroclasm, but it's at least notable. Vapor Snag's bad. Simic Charm might be okay. Shoal is good. We're not going to play Blood Moon. They probably will. Explosives is extra removal, but this version of Storm is probably just Gift Storm, so I don't believe they'll be playing any enchantments like Pyromancer Ascension. So I don't think Explosives is actually going to be very good. That also makes Destructive Revelry a lot worse. Huntmaster's probably not good against Storm. Extraction is. So we took out Dismember, Vapor Snag, and Renegade. Maybe Renegade comes back in exchange for something else. We have a minute and a half to decide. What do we want? I definitely want all the Thought Scours. I don't want to drop any counterspells. Is Simic Charm better than Renegade? Renegade is 5th Delver in this matchup, because it's pretty unlikely that it does much blocking. Simic Charm theoretically bounces one of their cost reducers, can give Hexproof in case they need to Grape Shot on the defense, and can push extra damage through. I think I'd rather have the Simic Charm. Oh, we're apparently too slow for our opponent. Okay, well, we're just gonna close off the chat entirely. We don't need to deal with that. 4 lands isn't great. Bolt deals with their first dude. I don't think this hand is too great, though, because they almost certainly have an Electromancer on turn 2. So we're going to end up Goyf on turn 2. Bolt on 3. Don't like it very much. That's probably about as bad, but at 6 I'd rather keep it. We at least have something to do on turn 1. Mana Leak is kind of good, but also kind of slow, so I think we want to bottom it. We already have the 1, so that's nice. We're probably going to end up going turn 1 Thought Scour, turn 2 Goyf. Although, no, unless we draw... We can't profitably interact with Mana Leak. Now we're going to turn 1 Serum Visions. We can't really use Mana Leak because their enablers come down on 2. That's a Spell Snare I would have preferred to have earlier. I do want this land for turn 3, but I don't hate having another Goyf. It doesn't matter what order they come in, because we already have Goyf, and I don't expect to play the land. So we're just going to leave them like that. Goyf is okay if they somehow make us lose our first Goyf. Sleight of hand, so they don't have the turn 2 enabler, which is very good for us. It almost makes me want to not slam a Tarmogoyf here. I actually won't slam a Tarmogoyf here. We'll wait. Mainly because we have Spell Snare in our hand, and a land on top of the library. I don't want to use Thought Scour, because we either lose the card we want to draw, or we Thought Scour them, which is probably something they would enjoy. Let's go to end step. We're going to hold up our Spell Snare. Should be fun. Normally, I wouldn't hold up counters in that kind of situation, and I would rather just play out the threat on turn 2. But knowing that we're going to draw both a land and have an interactive Spell Snare that we can use on our next turn in addition to playing the threat, I think I like that better. Lots of Goyfs. They won't be played because I'd rather hold up Mana Leak and Snap Snare. Let's get our stuff ready for Snap Snare. Snap Snare probably happens before Mana Leak because it adds a Snapcaster Mage to the board. Fetching is fine. Electromancer, let's do it. 1, 2. That one. We need to let that resolve before we cast it. Spell Snare, Electromancer. Ooh, Dispel. That's going to resolve. Sure. So they might come back from this with that Electromancer in play. I believe we're just going to swing with the team anyways. Mana Leak is pretty much our only way of interacting with them at this point. Pyretic Ritual for 1 mana. We can leak it if they have nothing. Okay, so basically we have 2 options. We mana leak this now and hope they have no other rituals and pretty much just don't have anything. Or we wait, hope they go through all of their rituals and use all of their mana so that we can mana leak something else. I think we're just going to do it now. Sometimes you can get Storm players once they tap out for a gifts or something at the end of their storming. Looks like they're just going to take out Snapcaster Mage. Oh, they can actually do some amount of small storming. Yep. Goyf gets bigger because of that sorcery? Why did Goyf get bigger? There were already instants in the graveyard. We have a Serum Visions. Oh, the creature off of Snap. That'll do it. They are defiantly hitting us with the Electromancer there. So we're gonna hit for 5. And then I believe we just extract something from their graveyard. Whatever is the best card they could have. I believe it's Manamorphose. Is this their graveyard? Yes, it is. They go down to 2. So we can take Grape Shot out of their deck. Oh, we might actually go cast Delver, cast Hoots, take out Grape Shot, make them go for Empty the Warrens. Let's see. Make sure the deck's not running Curiosity. Thanks. Cool. So apparently they don't like Curiosity. Let's Surgical them. We're gonna pay 2 life. Select a card. I believe I just want to go for Grape Shot. That Grape Shot. Their hand is Past in Flames, Empty the Warrens. And we're going to take their Grape Shot. I don't get why Magic players get salty like that. I honestly just don't. Let's get rid of this. And we're going to go Delver. Like, you're losing against a tier whatever deck. What's the big deal? Delver has a great matchup against Storm. There's no need to whine about it and berate my deck. I just don't get it. Anyways, we don't let the salty players affect us on this stream, so we're just going to do our thing. Probably get rid of the land and the Mana Leak. Take out the Surgical. We don't have any more Snapcaster Mages, so I'm basically just playing around Traverse. And we'll pretend we have a Stubborn Denial or something to that effect. I wonder if they realize Curiosity is actually really good against Storm, because it lets you draw into more counters and interaction while you clock them. I imagine they don't, but there's the scoop, and yeah, that's game. I hope you guys aren't dissuaded by our opponent being exceedingly immature, and I hope you stick around for the next time we smash a salty Storm player. See ya.